And I'm unmuted.
Good, there you are. Yeah, no, I just realized it would be silly to just listen to you and not have it properly done, so I'll record it. Just going to make you full screen.
Recorded for future embarrassment.
Exactly. The worse we look now, the better we will look in the future.
Right, first of all, excuse me clearing my throat and coughing a lot. Bridget had COVID, and I am now, it's not bad, but yeah. I mean, that's why I'm at home rather than in Worthing. She went on her own today.
Ah, okay.
Anyway, so yeah, I was saying, so Apple has solved the, did you say reading?
The basic reading, I've tried the books application in the Vision, Apple Vision Pro, AVP Vision, whatever we should call it,
Yeah.
and it's fine. It's basically the normal app. It's 2D. It's nice to read.
Mm-hmm.
There's no problem. But the magic hasn't been applied yet. So this morning I had a kind of a re-realization that the future tech stuff that I've been trying to do for over a decade now
Mm.
is still valid. We still need to look at the further things and not just take a book into XR. We need to explode the thing. And that's why I can't just get too hung up in what my programmers say is possible, because they are brilliant, but they're obviously focused on delivering. So we need to have a wider discussion of, okay, document is in front of you, now what?
Yeah, how things should work, and then find out whether they can. So the step, I was just thinking, it's like just like knee-jerk reaction to what you said. So the step beyond reading is interaction. And that's for me where things get really interesting. I mean, if this headset was well, to simplify it massively, just a content consumption device, it would be far less interesting to me. I think we had this conversation of not you and I, but this conversation was one that was going around a lot back in the early iPhone days and then early iPad days. Is it a content consumption device? Is it a content creation device? Can people make things, do things, produce things, as well as just browse and read and watch? And that is going to be vital to the headset's success, I think. I wouldn't buy one of these if all I could do was consume stuff. But I sure as hell want to buy one now because I can see it has such incredible potential. Still figuring out exactly what. I mean, obviously that's what we're all doing, but yeah. So interaction, like the first critical step beyond just reading. And for me, interaction in terms of document creation, whether it's like writing articles or creating sort of presentations, stuff to go along with talks I might do. That for me is where multi-document use, being able to go backwards and forwards between at least two different things, is really, really helpful. It's like, it doesn't always have to be like multiple documents from the same app or app environment, or however we're going to refer to this. But yeah, I need to be able to say a browser window there and something, maybe a writing window here, for example. So I can then look at something, think about it, take notes or flesh something out, go back and check something, go back, maybe sort of just looking across here and here. It's what I do on my laptop screen. I even do that to an extent on my phone, although obviously it's more difficult. You're kind of bouncing in and out. I mean, sometimes I use that push part way up. You can see screens behind, just move it over just enough so I can see, check, okay, what was the exact wording of whatever it is that I was looking at, go back to the frontmost thing, carry on working. So yeah, some kind of multi-document access, viewing access while working in a document is going to be really helpful.
Yeah, that's you can obviously have multiple windows in Vision. Not sure about also with this, but I mean we are now currently working mostly on fully immersed.
Right. Okay.
But yeah.
So fully immersed. That's interesting.
We don't have much choice of that.
Right. But I mean, it's I've had what 10 minutes experience in the headset, so I really need to read up and try and think about this more deeply. What I saw was the AR environment with the sort of the augmented bits, the VR in a sense, stuff floating there, and there's like one window for this app, one window for this app, another window for that app. So I had been thinking along the lines of, okay, this is the sort of thing you are working towards. So your app would be a document or documents floating in space that could be populated by other things as well.
Yeah, it can be populated with other things, and that's definitely an important thing that I'm trying to realize, make real, that kind of realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep talking. I'm mocking up some of the things we're talking about as we speak. So if you see me flipping about, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not writing, it's just mechanical. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said so working, you're working with things more fully immersive at this point.
Yes, because Vision Pro in XR does not support pass-through. And I don't know, yeah, we're not doing a flat. Okay, so in Vision, you have flat things, you have volumes, and you have immersive spaces. Those are your three options.
Okay.
And you can take a thing from a Safari 3D model, pull it out, and put it in your space. Brandon has done that. In fact, it's over there in the room now. I just can't get rid of the damn thing. It's the equivalent of preview on the Mac, right? It just happens to be, and it is the same. So that's really, really cool. But so I start with my web browser over there, and whenever, with my headset on, if I click enter, then I am in a fully immersed environment, and it's only the tools and views that we develop that are accessible, at least for now.
Okay. So what you initially see is that sphere.
Yeah.
That you reach out or you look at and click your finger and thumb together, tapping it. And that takes you into a fully immersed environment.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it. So within that, first question is, how easy is it to step in and out of that immersive environment?
It's not, I'm still learning a little bit. Let's put it that's the kind thing. It should be easier than it is. Maybe, I'm not sure if I fully understand it.
So I'm trying to work out the analogies to help me understand at least the basic level before I then sort of refine my understandings. So it sounds a little like taking an app into full screen mode on a Mac, which I do rarely, but I do sometimes.
It is akin to that.
Yeah.
Loose. Being on the Mac, we have an author and reader. Escape goes in and out the keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah.
There isn't anything as quick as that yet.
Right. Okay, that was the sort of thing I was wondering about. Okay. Well, still, it's the sort of thing that you then understand. Okay, this is how this works. But then, what I would definitely want to be able to do is to see more than one document in that immersive environment.
Yeah.
And would there be a way of, in that immersive environment, having like a web browsable panel? A little like, say, on your phone, you're in an app, you tap a link, and one of the options to developers is to basically leverage WebKit within their app. So just like throws up a panel, you're browsing, but you're still in that app, as opposed to being bounced to mobile Safari. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. So what you're saying is, if you are in our XR experience.
Yes.
If you come across a link, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
if you click on that, currently, I believe it will take you out and it will make you go back in another one.
Okay.
But the whole idea of nesting is very important in general, I think.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm wondering whether it would be possible to just have a panel floating there to one side, maybe, where I could be sort of referring to something.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Basically like a secondary thing, right?
a WebKit panel within the XR space.
Yeah.
I don't even know if these terms are still current, but yeah, that sort of thing. So I'm still in the space where I'm looking at my document and thinking about it, but then I can just say, just look something up and go, right, okay, look at that, right, carry on working here, and then look at there, maybe browse in that, but then go and carry on typing stuff up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. So
These sound like Brendel questions.
yeah. They are. I'm going to show you this in a second. It doesn't really address your concern, so to speak, but
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call these concerns, but definitely desires. Too excited about this stuff to have to use the word concern, but I know what you mean.
and to say clicking all kinds of stuff, I'm just going to send you a brief little screenshot here. Because this is the kind of thinking that I have to do. Yeah, texting a screenshot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to come to the terms with the fact that we will need these kinds of control. It's going to be hard to select text, apparently.
Right.
Specific,
Apple seems to be going backwards in terms of that and usability. Text
oh, yeah,
select on iOS has suddenly become such a pain in the ass.
it really has. It's super weird.
Mm.
Here's the thing. I think I just added a useful thing. So let me just show you this and then ask you some questions.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Uh, so obviously the commands will need to have some sort of logic to them where they are.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them will be probably just here under context. Makes sense, right?
Can you explain what this panel is specifically?
Yes. Weird thing here.
I mean, is it a floating menu?
Yeah,
Menu.
this is the floating menu that is right in front of the user, the one that was spawned in that video. So
Right.
we will these where it says library traditional view blah blah blah, they will all have to be really clear, probably text, so that when you hang on, make sure I can see properly.
In old school Mac OS terms, those would be drop downs.
Should we call it pop-ups then, maybe?
Or pop-ups, yeah. But I'm just thinking those are like menu headers, and you would interact with them, and then you'd see the options available within one or another.
We just call it a control bar or something, but I'm sure
Yeah.
that the language will improve.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the point of those is that this is how you perform the commands on that are available to you. And part of the key is that as you might have seen when you tap the little thing and you get it, it's quite large. So you should be able to tap and move your hand. So it's keyboard shortcuts almost. They're big enough that it becomes a gesture, right?
Right.
So we'll see how that goes.
Do you know what? I mean, it's not an important thing, but it's interesting watching you doing the sort of mimicking the gestures. You're doing it from a right-handed perspective.
Oh, it is designed to be two-handed. We have lefties on our team, so that's
Right. So I just suddenly thought, actually, what I want is that rather than that.
Show me again.
Tapping on my other hand, just like,
Oh yeah.
because it's interesting because it's almost like, okay, but this is my non-dominant hand, but it's kind of, yeah, I mean, that's actually where I wear a watch on my right arm because I'm left-handed. It just feels wrong to be on the left.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. This is definitely definitely a concern.
But also not exactly an important one. I mean, one that I would hope would be factored in.
It is part of our design philosophy that we have to deal with accessibility. So this is a very plain accessibility issue. So yeah, we have to work out a logic for this thing. I think, yeah, but please keep talking because your commentary is more valuable than me asking you questions about this stuff.
I just got to figure out how to get the extra freelance so I get myself a headset now, because I really think I want to see what these things really mean. Anyway, so that yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how menus and things like that.
Why don't you come over for dinner?
Yeah, okay. Well, when I'm feeling better, obviously, but yes.
I was thinking tonight, but okay, fair enough.
Well, yeah, I probably shouldn't just be hanging out with people too much in case I am. It's a little bit infectious. Yeah, I mean, vaccines have helped make that not so much. But what I was thinking of is that is, in a sense, it's a menu bar, what we've been just looking at talking about, in a sense. A control bar, menu bar, it's a place where you've got a list of different options to pick from. In the traditional Mac world that we've had for 40 years, it's pinned to the top of the display. In Windows, they pin it to top of the application window, which means you can overshoot, which I always found a tiny bit annoying.
It's slow.
Yeah, it does slow you down working like that. But there is no top, obviously, in an immersive environment. So it is interesting. We're sort of looking at evolving the concept of menus and menu bars. We do need to have a palette, a control bar of options that we can look at and pick from.
The logic here is that because you summon it like this, it's there, right? So summon it,
appear and go.
so it should be really close. That was the logic.
So you're talking about somebody summons it. I'll put my hands up in view. Someone summons it, and then they actually point at the thing they want.
Yes.
So it's no longer a gaze thing with a tap thing, or it doesn't have to be.
That's correct. We can't really gamble on being able to do the vision specific things.
Right.
So yes.
Well, I'm happy to hear that because I'd like to not always have to rely on literally looking at and then tapping, finger tapping, whatever we're going to call that. I'd like to be able to just say, okay, reading it and just call something up, and because I can read things in sort of peripheral vision fine. I do that a lot, probably partly why I'm a fast reader, but I'd like to be able to. Also, there'll be a kind of a sort of muscle memory, doing that, pointing to here versus here. Yeah, while I'm still looking.
That's an important part of the design, the hope for muscle memory, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting what you just said now about looking. You shouldn't have to always be looking. That is really, really significant. I had not thought of this, because to me that says, if you do, as obviously you agree, and as you know, if you only speak text, you don't type, you're
Yep.
using a different part of your brain, right? So similarly, if you consciously have to constantly look at what you're doing, you're not able to do things off the cuff, literally.
Yes, it is interruptive to the thought processes.
Yeah, that's really valuable. That's
Mm.
definitely a highlight of this recorded conversation.
So I think we may then, in the sort of the more technical design aspects, you're talking about hit target sizes, and you want it to be easy, so people don't have to do that and then go, hang on, I've got to look because it's a bit fiddly hitting the right thing.
Yes.
So that then starts to limit the number of things that you can place at the first level.
Yes. And that is exactly what I'm working on now. So it's really fortuitous timing. And this is going to be highly political, what we choose to have at that top level. And it is ridiculously exciting to be making these judgment calls.
Mhm.
I'm going to show you a version of that soon. Actually, you know what? We're on Zoom. I can just leave the screen sharing open. It's probably, I can't
Mhm.
imagine.
Well, I've got my phone beside my laptop with what you've been posting there. Oh, okay.
Right. So some kind of working out some kind of logic where obviously
Mhm.
this design is not super modern, but whatever. It's
Yeah.
indicative.
I mean, look, if you just look at the logic of reasonably well considered applications on your Mac, and the standard approach, the whole well, the Macintosh guideline type things. So you've got file on the left and then edit, and then you're sort of going through a relatively standardized approach or hierarchy or sort of level of the sorts of things you're talking about. So yeah, library on the left makes sense because that's kind of a major thing, like the file menu.
Yeah, it's a return.
Yeah. Not sure about having things on different levels.
Hang on, that was not supposed to animate. What do you mean different levels?
Well, different points higher up or lower in that panel. Like
Well,
libraries up near the top, traditional view is almost halfway down.
the logic that I'm thinking here is that right and left are kind of control areas. I forgot about this when I was doing it, but we were thinking that to have like a control system preference icon somewhere, right? Always
Mhm.
put it somewhere. So we need to do some real testing here, as in where is it hardest to hit? That's wherever it's hardest to hit, that's where we should have distance. Because to change the reading distance and stuff, that's not something you want to do very often.
No.
So should that be preferences or settings? Maybe.
Yeah, settings, which may give you the option of having more than just a distance thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also something which is inherently interruptive in a sense. So yes, have it. It doesn't need to be something that someone can just quickly dash and quickly trigger.
So 3 rows, 2.
Hmm.
So this, what do you think of 3 rows and also 3 columns?
So 3 by 3 grid, like noughts and crosses, tic-tac-toe, in a sense.
Yeah, where we're just going to duplicate this. So we take Keynote is a ridiculously good drawing app, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you do hit limits and things that can be annoying, but it's, yeah, can't think of a better one for this sort of quick.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So here's one, and here is another one, and then here's the, whoops, and of course here's the middle one.
Mhm.
So that was one of it, and then would make that.
Designer in me wants at least the left and right ones to be the same width. And I think there may be arguments to say it's a useful usability thing as well. Maybe.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that. That's
Yeah.
absolutely what you're here for. I agree with you. So this was all arbitrarily done, just a sketching.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Yeah, no. So this is good. Let's follow up on
Carry
that.
on commenting, but yeah, fine, understood.
Yeah, so I was trying to justify some of the spacing, why these are in the middle. We
Okay.
we may not need. I mean, if you do this, that's easier. All the way to the right is harder. Okay, so why don't we just put that in here somehow? It doesn't even have to be below each other, but just for now.
Yep.
And then, but we go back to library to be on this one. So we effectively get rid of this. So we just have 2 boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is special because it's settings. And then, because I have this single page, context, show all of that is something to be, okay, you know what? Making headings there. Views. Oops. Let's make that black. Obviously, this is not real design, it's just to help us.
Yeah. It's about hierarchy and labeling. Yeah. So now you're identifying the different sections.
Work environment, that's what I mean. So it's got settings.
Yeah.
Very. Do you remember we used to do this kind of design together before?
Yep. In Starbucks.
And usually in a coffee shop, yes.
Yep.
Probably.
Arguing about the pros and cons of which direction we scroll.
Yes, that was absolutely.
That was really useful. Bashing those ideas around.
Okay, good. So here we have, go back to the library and settings. That's in its own little box on the right. So then we have views. We have 2 kinds of views. We have doc views, and then we have context views or space views, right?
Mm-hmm.
Emily asking me a question. View space views.
We should be doing these a lot more. So yeah, don't hold back from doing whatever else you need to do.
We
We will.
definitely we definitely need to do more. Doc views, space views, and then we have interaction, no searches, right? That's a special thing.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if we can have 2 or 3 per space here. It may be that all it can support is 2. No, I'm going to design 3, and then we can always go down.
Yeah.
No,
3 seems like a reasonably useful potential plan.
that's not what I meant.
Hmm. Oh God, I wish HyperCard had never been killed.
My friend Rob, my host in California, he spent the day with Bill the other day. They're building up a bit of a friendship. It's quite amazing and cool.
Hmm.
Of course, I'm a bit jealous because I think Bill just thinks I'm a silly boy, which is fine. Okay, so okay, context.
That's what we need for if there was a hypercard for Vision Pro, Vision OS.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Just
That's my big
this
hope.
thing around. Oh,
So right now we only have 3 columns.
mhm.
Yeah, the family, we were trying to go into town today to celebrate Chinese New Year.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Let's space these out a bit.
Yeah, and that's something which will have to be done based on testing.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's kind of amazing to do it with you, though, I have to say. Oh yeah, so Vint confirmed today that he's coming to Washington State for the Future of Text this year, which is really good.
Oh, brilliant. Cool.
You should consider trying to find a way to cross the.
That yeah, that would be amazing. Can't think of a way at the moment, but I will keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep it in mind. Then we have
When is it?
weekend before Thanksgiving. It just seemed to make sense. So it's the 23rd of November, I think.
Mhm.
So this is at least some kind of thought gone into it now. Except that this could obviously be.
Mhm. I mean, I would really be interested to see how this worked in sort of an A/B type testing. What you've got here is a panel with these buttons, hit points, whatever, all on view. Each one has got its own little menu style header. What if the bar was a single menu deep and you went bang to the dock views and that showed you the list of options? So you go bang, pick. Would that be better or worse than having everything visible on a larger thing? I suppose what we need to figure out is when do things start to feel crowded? If we start opening up panels with lots of things on, at what point does it start to become a negative rather than a positive?
Yeah, no, exactly. reduce the opacity level.
And does this disappear once you pick something, or does it stay and you choose to dismiss it?
Aha, that's the great question. I don't know. I think that's going to depend on what you're doing. Let's say if you tap to go to library,
Mhm.
once you're in the library, it should probably disappear.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I would be assuming that the library is like its own sub-environment in a sense.
It is.
Right. So
So
you leave this document environment to go and look at your library environment. So that makes sense. But if I popped open, I don't know. What I was sort of bouncing around in my head is, if this is something which shows everything, then it would probably be quite a kindness in some ways to have it hide relatively easily, possibly automatically. Whereas
yeah,
if there was just like a strip with the titles that you reach out and tap to reveal the options in them, then if you invoke it, maybe it should stay around until you de-invoke it.
yeah. So one of the things that we have thought about is related to that, and that is, somebody should stay here, is having this as either a prism, that's, so if you do a thing that requires a slider, when you press that thing, the whole thing will move and you have a massive slider.
What sort of thing are you thinking about? Because I can't visualize what that means.
Maybe you tap on settings and then it opens up the settings menu, and one of them is change the reading distance. And instead of necessarily pinching, you might just
Ah,
move the slider for
okay.
something, that kind of stuff.
Hmm. Okay. Yep. Different controls, different behaviors.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is provocative as a version 1 to share with the people. Um, that's really what I'm trying to do now, just to provoke a bit of
Mhm.
discussion. What do you think?
Find online. That's where I would want it to not take me out to the browser.
Yeah, ideally.
Hmm. Be interesting to see what Brendel thinks as a concept.
It's going to be interesting now to I'm going to just push this image to Slack and not be more official.
Hmm.
Yeah, just to get a commentary from people. What's this? Can't make them less. Is there a keyboard shortcut for this, for the line spacing?
No,
Really annoying because, okay, 0.05. Yeah, it won't go beyond that.
no. Well, I mean, that is kind of a ridiculously tight line spacing, isn't
No, nah,
it?
between these two, can do some more spacing. But,
Oh, lines. Change where it says lines to in the pop-up menu in your inspector.
here, no, oh, here you mean on the right?
Yeah, we see. Yeah, where then you can say exactly, or
Oh, really?
well, you've changed it to between, but try exactly, and then just give it a whatever value you want. I don't know if this is going to help. Okay, right. So 1 point is apparently its minimum.
Yeah, but that's weird though, because
That is weird. Oh, you've got before paragraph, after paragraph. You've got 45 points.
No, that's just while trying to do this. So let's do.
If you take the before down to 0 and then start playing with the lines. He said, not knowing exactly what is in your head, but
which one should I choose?
exactly. I normally use either lines or exactly. But you've got before paragraph 45 points, which is forcing. That's why I would
Oh, okay. Let me just do this then.
take that down to 0 or
That's,
leave the lines at 1 and then play around with the.
it's done it. I think it's done a good job. Fixed
Hmm,
it.
okay, because
So,
1 should be 100% no extra leading.
yeah, no, that's this is good.
But yes, that's done the trick.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. So I'm also gonna put it on a document here. Yeah, I don't have anything on that. That needs to be in here. What are we going to call this? What we're going to call it? Like, the control panel. What's the best name?
I mean, in old school sense, it's a menu bar. I mean, you could call it control panel / menu bar for the moment, and then just say, okay, what should we be calling this? But I think while we're
Menu bar is just fine, actually.
yeah, exactly. While we're working out if should it have a better name, that's the closest analogy. Because a control bar could have all sorts of other things, but this is really it's a list of commands, isn't it? Command triggers. It's what a menu.
I wonder how small it'll be. That's readable.
Yeah. I mean,
Looks vaguely
really.
official.
So when's Vision Pro reaching the UK officially?
There is no official, just this year. So that's not very ideal, is it? And we have to figure out how to get more of them. What do we call it? Menu bar. I do like in PDF links.
Hmm.
Right, we made some progress. Now we need to keep working. This one here, it doesn't really communicate anything, does it? Just a second.
No. What is that?
It was just an indication that you could like flip the document and stretch it and other things would appear. It doesn't really communicate that.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much for today, and let's continue this when you're well.
Yep.
How long is the wife away? When can I see you?
Oh, she's coming back tonight.
Oh, okay.
If I'm feeling better tomorrow, we may go down for an overnight, Sunday, Monday, or maybe even Monday, Tuesday, because we're both not working until Wednesday.
Okay.
Most of the time, or a fair bit of the time, I am only teaching Wednesday. Although there are a few weeks here and there where I've got a lot more going on.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for now. I'm going to see what Emily's doing, and this was really good to keep pushing the dialogue into both what you want as an academic and as a Mac guru.
Yeah, and as a content creator.
Yes, exactly. All right. Be well. See you soon. Thank you.